Hi, guys. I wanted to record a message. Don't overcomplicate spirituality. It's so easy. That's what I heard David Guyam say, and I thought that's a fantastic title. But I wanted to just go through this with you. And some of the greatest teachers that I've known are all kind of saying the same thing that you all have access to your unlimited ability, the very nature and power of God, of all creation within you. You all have access to it. It's your birthright. And so I'm just going to share a couple things with you from a lot of these teachers that I've learned from, and the simple meditations I've put together. If you do those things, they work because we're tapping into this natural ability you all have, as well as I'm just going to show you at the end out of Lester Levinson's teaching just how simple it is to really manifest a goal in your life. And so here's some of the greatest teachers I've ever heard. Jose Silva, if you ever go look at Silva Mind Control, he says this. He says, we all have access to a higher power to do things we never thought possible in minutes per day. And it really is this idea, are we going to do it with our own effort, our own ability? Well, we're all limited there. Or are we going to tap into the unlimited power of spirituality, of God, of all creation? And he says we can receive everything we want in life more quickly and easily than from our physical effort. By tapping into this power, we can rapidly turn goals into reality. Now, that's exciting. Our subconscious, our spirit man, the inner man, whatever you want to call it, guys, all knows this is true. That's why all creation is trying to figure it out, and it's really not that difficult. Here's Joe Dispenza, why his work is so popular right now. And this is again, he's talking about two different ways of physical effort, um, mental effort, relying on how much knowledge we have versus tapping into the unlimited power and unlimited knowingness that we can all tap into. So here's Joe Dispenza. He says, people believe we have to drag our body through space and time to get what we want. Your effort, your power, your physical ability. That is the lie of separation, meaning I'm separate from this thing I want and I must change matter to get it. In fact, he says that is matter trying to change matter. The truth is, everything that is matter is surrounded by a quantum field of love, meaning everything that is basically in this divine matrix of love. And what's really interesting is every atom in the universe, this field we're all connected to, moves to mirror what's going on from the energy that we generate from our hearts and minds. And he says, you can learn to create from this field instead of matter. When you get a picture of what you desire, mental, in your mind and maintain the emotion, heart emotion, as if you already have it, independent of any situation, factor, time. You are like a transducer. You collapse space and time. The event is drawn to you. You don't have to go anywhere to get it. Now, some of you guys know Cyan Bannister's interview, and she's done several. She's an angel investor, operates at a fund level, was a ward of the state at 15, and now invests hundreds of millions of dollars. And she says this, I love this because she's tapped into it, guys. She says, I'm so hopeful. The more I remove my ego, the more magical it becomes. What is ego? Thinking that this thing that I think I'm separate, this Mike Popovich that I am, who you are, is separated from everything versus realizing all creation responds to us. So she says, the more I remove my ego, physical ability, physical effort, the more magical it becomes. It's a lot less hard than you think. Now, here's a woman who's investing hundreds of millions of dollars that's not formally educated in higher education, just tapped into this. She says this, now I get to dream about the world we could all live in. So she starts to just dream and she starts to feel how good it feels about what if life could be like this? She says, now I get to dream about the world we all live in, and magically the right person appears. I would suggest to everybody, relax a little bit more. You know what you're doing there, guys? You're getting past the analytical mind right into your subconscious where everything can be changed. Try a little bit less, meaning it's not all about your effort, how smart you are, how much ability you have. Try a little bit less and trust a little bit more. If you go watch the interview, she goes, perhaps, just perhaps, she's obviously telling the truth. Hey guys, there's something bigger than you. She says, perhaps, just perhaps, there's something bigger than all of us that binds us all together. Then all of a sudden, everything just becomes easier, and there's not a lot of effort you have to put into anything. That is so difficult for people to get. But you are a spiritual being, you are an unlimited being, And the design, our divine design, guys, is what we dream about. She says, I'm so hopeful because she understands how it works now. The more I remove my ego, what I think I can or can't do, the more magical it becomes, meaning I'm going to tap into something bigger. Now, this is why she's so hopeful. Now I get to dream about the world we could all live in. So she simply dreams and realizes that all humanity, every atom in the universe responds to what she imagines and what she feels. And magically, the right person appears. I would suggest to everybody to relax a little bit more, try a little bit less, trust a little bit more. That is so rich, guys. The more you remove your ego, your physical ability, the more magical it becomes, and trust in the love greater than ourselves that responds to us. Um, David Gayem, where I got the title, this was from an interview on Lewis Howes, and he says, whatever your desires are, you are meant to receive them. It already exists. Don't question that. God, the creator, wants us to have everything. God is endless, it's infinite, and wants us to give us everything. It's our birthright. So we're the ones blocking the energy from coming in. And he says, if you say something over and over again, it's so simple, I don't want to overcomplicate spirituality. Boy, does religion complicate spirituality. If you say a mantra over and over again, it's just saying something over and over again, slowly, seeing it, picturing it, feeling it. It says, if you say a mantra over and over again, your body and mind will eventually comply and accept that as your new belief system. You are actually rewiring your subconscious. You're creating a new you, guys. What used to be hard is now easy. And then he says some other key parts that I think are great. When you serve others, basically, when you're generating life out of yourself, when you're giving out of yourself, everything opens up to you. What people are getting wrong about manifesting is there's a prevailing belief system that you need to suffer to be successful. I need to work this hard. I do need to do this much work, etc. If you think it is easy, even when you're supposedly quote unquote working, creation seems effortless and easy. If you think it's easy, it's easy. When you realize there's a greater power, a greater love, a greater God, the power of all creation that we can tap into versus our physical ability becomes magical. And here's the science behind it. Yeah, I love the neuroscience behind this because I've always been intrigued by how divinely designed humanity is, guys. Come on, tell me two cells, an egg and the sperm, can come together and create this magnificent thing called you, where those two cells know how to create your DNA, they know how to create your blood vessels, they know how to create your hair follicles. When you cut yourself, magically it knows how to regrow those capillaries and those skin cells and magically reform and fashion your fingerprint that's unique to anybody else in the world. Every second, guys, you have 80 trillion is what they're estimating. Who knows? It's so big, our mind can't go there. It's so big. Every second, there's 80 trillion electrical transactions happening in your brain. Tell me that's not divine, guys. That is so divine. So some of you guys know Dr. James Doty. He's written several books, and he's got a provocative title out there, so just bear with it. But he says this, he's a famous neurosurgeon. And he says the neuroscience of manifestation and how it changes everything. He basically, from a scientific standpoint, tells you how divine you are and how you can change anything in your life. He says you can consciously reprogram your subconscious. The process of reprogramming the subconscious is actually quite easy. Write it down and breathe. What you're doing there is you're relaxing and you're getting past your analytical mind. Your brain waves actually slow down and you tap into your subconscious where you can reprogram it. Then he says, whatever you wrote down, read it silent to yourself. Just slowly read it silently to yourself. Here's a for instance. I allow myself to have X amount of income effortlessly every month. If you're not there, it'll resist at first. But he says, read it silently to yourself. Then read it out loud to yourself. Then look at it and visualize the end result and feels what it feels like as if you already have it. And he says that this will be a lot faster than actually you think. And he says, in this way, your thoughts and feelings actually rewire and reprogram your subconscious. Your new thoughts and feelings create a different energy, which changes your physical world. Now, I'll end with Lester Levinson. And he says this, we're all unlimited beings. I saw that the only limitation I had were ones that I accepted, that we have all accepted about ourselves. We're not enough. We're We're not loved. We're separate. Life is hard. Money doesn't grow on trees, you know. I don't have enough education. I'm not the right sex. I'm not the right color. I'm not the right race. I'm not in the right country. Those are all just concepts we've believed about ourselves, and we've covered up our infiniteness. So he says, we are infinite beings over which we have superimposed concepts of limitation like logs of a dam. And we're smarting under these limitations that we accept for ourselves as though they're real because they are opposed to your basic nature of total freedom. And he describes total freedom like this: you can do anything at any time with anyone as much as you want. Now, that sounds like freedom. Actually, when you tap in, everyone moves to serve you as you just float around. When you're in tune and you have a thought, every atom in the universe moves to fulfill your thought. And this is true. And so, guys, I would just encourage you that the simple meditations we've put together, take into these principles, take in all these principles, and I promise you, you can get there much faster than you think. You don't have to overcomplicate spirituality. You've been divinely designed. You're naturally supernatural.